This is episode number 20 of the Silvertrac Extra.
Thanks for tuning in to the Silvertrac Extra, your source for the best tips, tricks, and how-tos to dominate the security industry, helping you improve your business, win more contracts, and crush your competition. Here are your hosts, Chris Anderson and Johnny Page.
What's up, Silvertrac Nation? This is Johnny Page, co-host of the Silvertrac Extra, here on episode number 20. And today we're going to be announcing a new report available in Silvertrac that really helps dial in your guard tours, guard accountability, and put some amazing tools in our customers' hands that will allow them to identify some underperforming officers, as always, before the customer finds them. So that's what our mission here is, making sure that you can put the top quality service out in the field. We have a number of tools to do that, and today we're talking about the checkpoint timeline summary. So some amazing content coming up today, covering some stuff that's mostly relevant to our customers. If you're not a customer of Silvertrac yet, you may be able to get just an inside look at what we're doing and what we're up to as Silvertrac Nation continues to push the envelope and push the security industry to a whole new level. So stick around for that. First, we're going to hear from our sponsors over at Paperless Proposal. Then we'll jump straight into our featured conversation.
Developed for mid to large security companies, Paperless Proposal is the #1 enterprise-level cloud-based proposal creation and management solution. Use it to create, send, track, and manage highly customized proactive or RFP proposals. Differentiate your company and win more business with this powerful proposal generation software that can include office files, video, templates, pricing tools, CRM integration, and e-signature approval. Contact us for a free demo at www.paperlessproposal.com/Silvertrac.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the featured conversation here on episode number 20 of the Silvertrac Extra. And Chris, this kind of feels like a milestone reaching episode number 20 here.
Absolutely. I can't even believe it's 20 already.
Yeah, it seems like it's gone by fast. We've definitely learned a ton. So I'm looking forward to many more episodes to come, but it's been a blast so far.
It sure has.
Well, today we're going to be going over a new report that we've got available within Silvertrac. And normally we don't want to make this too salesy, but what we'd like to show you is that we've got some pretty cool tools that I believe apply to most operators out there. And today, Chris, the report that we've just released, hot off the press, is a new checkpoint timeline report.
Yeah, and I got to give you some credit on this. This is a great report, and I know you spent a lot of time. Working on this report with our tech division. So, I think this would be a great opening, John. Tell us how you got to this idea.
Well, I have the privilege of meeting with a lot of different customers throughout the week. And so in just a normal checkup, I was just having a conversation with a really awesome client of ours in Tennessee, and they showed me how they were using Excel to really run a good analysis on all their checkpoints. And what this Excel report was allowing them to do was to see when they had certain benchmarks that would highlight when an officer's performance was dipping. And so they could run this analysis on all their properties, and they would know where to look if an officer's performance was slacking. So I said, hey, you know what? We have all that raw data in Silvertrac for our customers' accounts. So I wonder if there's a report that we can put together that would be similar. So we did. I went through, we mocked the whole thing up, ran a couple of tests, and released it in a pretty short period of time. And now what this report will allow you to do is to see not only just to see the number of checkpoints that were on the property and the number of times that were hit, but we're going to see some cool analytics, like what was the average interval between each of those hits. So for example, if in talking with our customer, we promise to be making sure that we're consistently touring the property, what we realize is there really shouldn't be more than a 30-minute gap between two checkpoints, right? If we're really doing the tours right. And if there's an incident in between it, that's okay. But an early indicator that maybe that we weren't hitting our performance metrics would be if there's a 30-minute gap. So in this report, we see some highlights like that, and we get some of those averages. Really a cool report to just run a quick analysis on the checkpoint performance of a property and know if we need to look into it further, if maybe an officer was underperforming.
Yeah, I can see that you've actually got the checkpoints by name in this report, so they can take a particular location, what you're saying, and they can show each location. They can show the username and then the difference between the time frame, correct?
Yep. Mhm.
whether it's building or an actual inspection. So that's really cool. I like that. So you can get an overview of where they're at. Now, is there any? I don't remember, John. Is there a time perimeter if you miss something that highlights?
Yeah, so if there's more than 30 minutes between two entries, it's going to highlight it as red. And then but you're going to see the interval between each checkpoint. So you could say, hey, this is a 7-minute interval between, floor 1 inspection and floor 2 inspection, right? And so you're going to see the time between. And if it's more than 30 minutes, we're going to highlight it in red so that you don't have to pick through a long list of checkpoints.
Yeah, and see, and this is where everybody talks about that geofencing. I think this completely takes away that concept with geofencing. I knew we talked about QR codes doing that anyhow, right? Being able to GPS and photograph and know exactly where you're at, and then putting them in the book for time savings. But this is terrific. I'm just looking at some of the pages now. It's fantastic, great release. I really like it.
Yeah, and I think this is going to help provide some time saving for our customers in that when a supervisor comes in, it's very difficult to look through every single site in great detail to make sure that everything was done. But if we can provide a quick spot check for a site once or twice a week, and we're pulling a report like this just helps us point in the right direction. In addition to that, this helps provide some more metrics that we can help measure the performance on site and then turn around and offer this to our customers. So we're showing our customers that there really is an attention to detail. And I think that this goes above and beyond, Chris. When we can go back to it, and we covered this, I think it was in episode number 7 on the difference between geofencing and breadcrumb tracking. Really, geofencing does very little to offer value to the customer. We're basically saying, hey, we put a virtual fence around the property, and if our cow wanders off the property, we're going to get a notification. Very little value added to the customer. However, if we have a report like this and we have checkpoints set up on the property and we place these at those critical areas like checking all of the floors of the property or checking the boiler rooms or checking, whatever it could be on a property, that the high risk and liability issues, if we put the QR codes there, then what we're saying is if these areas are being missed, now we really have a problem. Not just that the officer wandered off the property and we're meeting our bare minimum requirements.
Yeah, especially if you're using this as a maintenance tool, I think you'd agree that the fact that the checkpoints do pull up a note to remind the guy what to do at that location, right? Number one, make sure that the temperature is meeting this requirement. If not, report it to the maintenance. But these reports are a great liability tool for the client, right, to assure that everything's getting done. So I think this would reduce a lot of their personal liability if, in fact, they could show that to their insurance carrier. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, I think any time that you go above and beyond in ensuring that the officer is at these specific locations on a regular basis, you are addressing those risk and liability issues.
Yeah, this is a phenomenal report. This is a great job, John.
Yeah, well, I appreciate it. It was some great feedback from our customers. And so I'd like to just briefly discuss what happens when a checkpoint is scanned, how this is different than the old DEGI systems, and how we're really using this as not only something to prove guard accountability, but to deliver value to the customer. So when a customer is being scanned, or when a checkpoint is scanned, Chris, we've got 3 things that happen all at one time. Number 1, we're getting a GPS location of where the officer's at. Number 2, a specific set of instructions are shown to the officer in the handheld. On the alternatively, another report, a separate narrative goes into the daily activity report, something that is in the customer's terms. So now we have something that's guard facing, and then we have something that's customer facing. Then fourth, we have the ability, a little bonus here is the ability to add a photo to the QR code. So we're not just relying on GPS, because these are consumer level devices. Like you could have, whether it's bad reception, you're in a high rise, we're not just relying on GPS. We've got a photo, so it puts the customer there on the property. They have visibility even when they're not there. It's an extension of their operation to be able to see a picture of the officer actually doing their job. Provides a lot of peace of mind. But then we're reminding the officer why it's critical that they're scanning that QR code, and we're putting in the daily activity report the same reason as well. So really a lot that goes on when a checkpoint is scanned, and then when we set that up for the whole property, this report makes sure that it all gets done, and then it's getting done on a regular basis.
Yeah, I think it's phenomenal. In fact, we also have the ability, as listeners may or may not know, to set a to set up a system where if a QR code or checkpoint is missed, it'll give you a notification. So it's just another backup system.
Yeah, absolutely. So a lot of tools here to make sure that our officers are in the right place. And in total, Chris, what this allows you to do is if there's an underperforming officer, you get to address the situation before your customer has to. And that is really what we're after here. All of these tools combined is that we can't always be hiring, the Secret Service for each one of these properties. There's, we have to be price competitive. A lot of times, unfortunately, it's fairly simple to get a guard card, and we could have some guys that just aren't interested in doing a good job. And when we do have those guys on site, we want to make sure that we're the ones discovering that before it's our customer calling us, really jeopardizing the contract.
Yeah, and I will tell all our listeners out there, you bring up a really good point. You guys, if you're out there and you're really looking to streamline your operation, you got to look at these checkpoints, because I'll tell you, it's the ability to put anybody out at that job site, whether there's somebody brand new, maybe it's a call off, or somebody that's a replacement guard. This gives you the ability to make sure that you're getting the job done at the same time at the right place all the time. And the report is consistent no matter who shows up. Better way of putting it.
Yeah, I think Travis Taylor in episode number, I'm going to say 14, one of our more recent episodes talked about how by putting Silvertrac in place, he didn't have to spend so much time cross-training, that he could actually train an officer remotely if he had all of this set up and they were familiar with the company. It's not like they're sending a guard for the first day out there, but if someone who's fully capable, for whatever reason, an officer calls off, he has the peace of mind to send an officer out there knowing that the checkpoints, the tasks, everything is set up in Silvertrac, really reduces the risk of sending an officer out there for the first time.
Right. And, you guys out there, don't think this is costly or time-consuming. It really isn't. The savings is huge. And if you take a look at the QR books that we have for you in the support center, it'll save you the time for even posting these QR codes on property or wallpapering the client's property with stickers, or looking for weatherproof things that you need to, a lot of the cost in weatherproofing and stuff. Get rid of the deggy buttons. This is the ticket right here.
Yeah, there's so much that's just changed, and there's so much available now. I really encourage you, whether you're using Silvertrac or you're not, look into using these checkpoints to really streamline the property. Chris and I would be happy to get together with you. We've got a whole team of product specialists who are really, really good at setting this up and matching this to your customers' expectations. Here at Silvertrac, we really focus on the service side of things. So as long we do have the amazing tool to get this done, but it really serves as a blank canvas for us to really come in, match this to your operation, and make sure that you can turn around, deliver value to your customers.
No doubt.
So in wrapping up today, visit us at silvertracsoftware.com/20. You're going to find the show notes for this article. You'll have the ability to share this across social media, share this with any of your officers, operators, supervisors internally at your company. Also, give our sponsors some love over at paperlessproposal.com/Silvertrac. They've got some amazing material on the sales process and business development. You won't want to miss out on that. And until next time, I'm Johnny Page.
And I'm Chris Anderson.
This was the Silvertrac Extra, and we'll talk to you soon.
This has been another episode of the Silvertrac Extra. For more insider information, visit silvertracsoftware.com/extra. Listen on the go by subscribing in iTunes. Want to hear your questions answered on the show? Visit silvertracsoftware.com/questions to submit your requests.